you ever get that feeling that you're missing out? Hello, welcome to Book Joy. Today I am delighted to announce the FOMO Book Club. The FOMO Book Club is going to be run by myself, Alice from Alice and Giant Bookshelf, and Gemma from Gemma Books. Lovely, lovely people. If you don't already subscribe to them, and I expect quite a lot of you do because we've got quite a lot of the same subscribers, go and do so now. They're amazing, brilliant, brilliant people, and I love chatting books with them. So we were chatting a little while ago and we discovered, we were talking about books that, you know, those books that everyone's reading that you haven't read, and then a few years down the line, there's an old Booker winner that everyone was reading and raving about and you still haven't read it, that kind of thing. So we were talking about it and we had a whole list of books, each of us, that we had on our shelves that people had raved about and wanted to read. We wanted to read them. We bought them with the intention of reading them and then never got round to doing it. So we decided, why don't we just do like a buddy read of them? And then we thought, why no? Let's open it up and it could be a book club. In fact, Gemma suggested we call it the FOMO Book Club. So what is the FOMO Book Club? It's going to be one book every 2 months, and the way we've picked the books is we each got a list together of the books that we've got that we should have read and haven't read, and we brought the list together. We managed to put them in a table. We voted on the books and we said this point, it has to be that we really, really want to read them. So we went through this, we ended up about 130 something books. So we each went through and took a vote on the books, and we said really strictly, you've got to really, really want to read it to vote for it. So we voted and we whittled it down even further. Then we decided we would pick our top 20, and then we scored our top 20. So we went through a few rounds of filtering out. We ended up with first pick is going to be in November and December, and it will be I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith, which is a classic I think it's a classic young adult, though we wouldn't have called it young adult back then, but kind of what you call it now. A coming of age story, I believe. I don't know very much about it. Very eccentric family living in a crumbling old castle is what I know about it. Then next up we have in January, February, because we thought it would be perfect time of year for it, Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. Then we've got in March and April, because it is going to be middle grade March, we thought this one might fit in nicely. Goodnight, Mr. Tom by Magorian, which is a children's classic about World War II. I've not read it. I think it's a classic. I think it was published in the 80s, but I think it's considered a classic now. And then in May and June, we have The Dance Tree by Kira Millward Hargrave, which is just a new release this year. She's one of my favourite authors. This is her second book for adults, because she normally writes middle grade and young adult, but she released an amazing book last year, The Mercies, and this is her second book for adults, and it is set in Strasbourg, I believe, and it's all around an outbreak of hysterical dancing in a town in Strasbourg, which is a real event that occurred, and she's written a book about it. So then in June, July and August, we're going to be reading Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is a reread for me, but Alice and Gemma hadn't read it, but I loved it so much I definitely would reread it. And then we're going to be finishing off in September, October, spooky season, this time next year, The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield, which I've heard so much about and I'm really interested to get into it. Gothic kind of thriller, horror, something. I don't think it's a horror, I think a gothic mystery is what I think it is. But I've heard so many people talking about it and loved it that I really wanted to read it. So these are the books that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing them over six books over the year, so it's really, really manageable for people. We're not going to do a book a month because that can be really hard to keep on top of, especially for me because I am really flaky at things lately, but I think I can manage one book every 2 months, especially if it's books that I really desperately want to read. So Alice and Gemma and I are going to read the books. We're going to do a live discussion on them in the second month, and then we're going to take questions from anyone who wants to take part in the book club. If this sounds like something that's for you, you're welcome to join us. We have got, thanks to Alice, a Discord server. Now, I can't guarantee I'm going to be on the Discord server regularly because I don't really like Discord that much, but I will check in from time to time. And what we're going to do is, if you have any sort of questions or thoughts or comments about the book, we'll share them on the Discord server, and when we have our live, we can discuss them. So that's how it's going to run. I hope you can join us for it. if you think any of these books sound like things that you've missed out on, if you've got FOMO and haven't read any of these books, please join us. We'd be delighted for people to join us. And yeah, but we'll be excited even if it's just the three of us. So you can see our lives and our thoughts on all of these wonderful books, you know, every second month. The first live is going to be hosted over on Alice's channel, and we'll put all the dates and things out on the Discord for all these things. And hopefully some people will join us. So if you ever felt like you're missing out and these are books you've missed out on, come and join FOMO Book Club. Bye.